So what is it that I'm actually trying to tell you today about relationships? It is that we need to be deliberate about them. We need to be deliberate about our relationships. Because if you are not deliberate about your relationships, it means you are not being deliberate about something that has one of the most powerful hooks on how you show up to the world. Greetings, everybody. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to High Performance Monday Motivations. Thank you so much for the support that you've been showing us, like in the past few weeks, like after we started, with our Monday Motivations. So we are still continuing with our series of pillars of self-identity. On the last episode, we spoke about your environment, the place that you find yourself in, places that you were born in, so on and so forth, right? So today I want to talk about another pillar of self-identity that I want to talk about is your relationships. Your relationships. Some of these relationships you choose them, some of them you don't. You don't choose your parents, you don't choose your brothers, your sisters, your siblings, so on and so forth. You don't choose family, so to say. But you do choose your friends. You do choose people that you want to associate yourself with. I'm going to quote Jim Rohn again. He said this. He said, some people are good for you to spend time for them for a minute, but not an hour. Some an hour, but not a day. Some a day, but not a year. Some a year, but not a lifetime. That old man was on some money there, because depending on what you get from someone after you sit with them, the time you spend with them becomes very critical. If it happens that you sit with someone who drains your energy, after you speak with that person, you feel like your energy is depleted, you can't do anything with yourself, then it shows that you shouldn't be spending a lot of time with those people. Other relationships, definitely you need to cut them altogether. Other relationships are just not good for you. You just need to cut them. Others does not mean you have to cut them, but you need to actually monitor the time that you spend on those relationships, the conversations that you would normally have with those people. Let me give you an example. Like in my mentorship programs, there's this thing that I like to do with my mentees, right? We would sit down and then I'll be like, let's do a day audit or a life audit, like on your life. A mood swing audit or your feelings audit on your feelings, on your moods, so to say, right? So what we'll do, I'll be like, okay, tell me how your day was. So we'll do it in the evening. The person will be like, hey, my day was great. Or someone was like, my day was just mellow. My day was amazing, or my day was not that good. Then I'll be like, name all the people that you spoke with today. All of them. Just write their names down and then tell me about the conversations you had. And then also play other things back in your memory to say, okay, compared to other days where I've been spending time with these people, how did I feel? How did my day turn out? And then they found a pattern, because we've done this for consecutive days. They'll be like, normally when I speak with this guy, my day ends in a certain way. Normally when I speak with this one, my day ends in a certain way. So what does that mean? So that means one simple thing. It means that when you do an audit of who you spend most of your time with, then you will get to see what you are getting from certain relationships. The problem is that we are very casual about people that we associate ourselves with. And then we should not be casual about our relationships. Those are very key. Remember what I said about Jim Rohn last week when I did the pillars of self-identity on environment. I said that you are the sum total of the people you met, places you've been in, and the books you read. So now we're talking about the people that you have met. People that you speak with on a daily basis, very, very, very important. Watch those relationships closely because they shape the perspective or the narrative at which you approach life. I always say that we normally don't see life or as is, but we see it through the lenses of our values. So what will happen is that if you find out that you value relationships more, chances are that those relationships will shape how you actually view or see the world. There are certain people who are negative, who are very nihilistic in how they do things, and they would want to impose that on you. When you are dreaming big, you say, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then you're fueled up and you have so much energy, then you want to do that thing, and you talk to someone else, and then before you know it, that bar goes down slightly a bit. That means you need to actually check that person quite closely to see what kind of energy are you actually exhibiting from being with certain types of people. Les Brown talks about this thing he calls it the OQP. He says, practice OQP, only quality people. And then I think he's on the money about it, because of if you surround yourself with people who are actually challenging you, moving you forward, making sure that they do not let things slide when you are dropping the ball. People who keep you accountable all the time on the promises that you said you're going to you're going to carry out yourself. So you need to make sure that you practice OQP, only quality people. People who don't put you down just for the sake of putting you down. People who will challenge you, and people who also inspire you. When you've done something good, there's people they will tell you. They'll let you know that, no, you've done good here. Or when you have done something bad, they'll still be able to tell you. So what is it that I'm actually trying to tell you today about relationships? It is that we need to be deliberate about them. We need to be deliberate about our relationships. Because if you are not deliberate about your relationships, it means you are not being deliberate about something that has one of the most powerful hooks on how you show up to the world. One of the most powerful hooks that that dictate how you show up to the world. You cannot be casual about that. You need to be very intentional about it. Les Brown, I think he also said that, if you check very well, you find out that you earn, when coming about what you earn money-wise, you earn, at least, an average of your closest 3 friends, I think he said. 3 or 5 friends. And if you think about it, it's there's so much truth in that. There's so much truth in that. So be very deliberate and be very intentional about your relationships. The people you associate yourself with, very, very important. Everything that you want to create in your life, you must know that you might destroy the legitimacy of it or seeing it through properly if you associate yourself with people who cannot see that as well. And then it's okay for people not to see what you see. It's okay. But it's also important for you to note that if people don't see things the way you see them, or they cannot relate to the aspirations that you have, it's very important that you don't share such intel with them, because if you do, it will impact or affect how you yourself actually are convinced about whether that thing will work out or not. So thank you so much for being part of this episode. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. This is me, Michael Sapotabani, signing out from High Performers. See you next time.